Welcome to Saturday morning here at the Waikerie Hotel ARB Riverland Enduro. We're set for a big weekend of off-road racing. We're about to kick off the action with the prologue here. It's round 4 of the ARB Australian Off-Road Racing Series. We're set for a big weekend of off-road racing. Andrew Stott, a great lineup of vehicles.
Here we are in the 4th round for 2017. The fields are over 100 vehicles. Incredible endorsement of the ARB series.
The event's been really well supported this year. We filled our 100 entry limit in 3 days, which was awesome, and we've got a top quality field of cars.
This round is another one that's up around the 100 mark, which is fantastic. And the really nice thing with the ARB rounds this year, it's well supported across quite a lot of the classes. So it's not just your elite pro buggies and trophy trucks, but it's really nice to see some class 10 cars and Super 1650s.
I think it's healthy. Every event has been great. There's been a great turnout, and there's new cars and different cars at every event.
What other competitors do you think will be pushing you this weekend?
Well, we're at the pointy end of the championship. They're all pushing me. But, you know, anyone in that Class 1 field of the big cars, they're all chasing the smaller cars.
Rhodesy definitely is going to be up there. I hope Danny's going to be tapping on the door. Habies are absolute killers around here. They've been running around this track for years, so it'll be a top event.
Definitely the Habies and Rhodes. I mean, between the two of them, they've won it the last 7 years. They've got quite a good track record here. They're local to here, so they know the track very well.
So prologue is up first this morning. What does that actually mean for the drivers?
The entire field get to run the prologue. They'll take the top 10 times, and those guys will get a second run in the top 10 shootout, and that will actually designate their starting order for Sunday morning.
Just drive what's in front of you and try and keep it tidy. I haven't raced here for a long while, and there's no moments for us. Navigator did a good job. Driver hung in there, for an old bloke.
The unlimited cars go last, so it's quite chopped up. And 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it's dry, so it gets dusty.
We were a little bit untied in the prologue. Unfortunately, we had a few little hiccups. Tomorrow's a long day, so we're hoping for a better result tomorrow.
We had our prologue lap this morning. The car was bloody on fire, absolutely on fire. Communicated really well with my navigator Lee, and then managed to put it in first in class by about 7 seconds, so we're absolutely wrapped with that.
Put it on 3rd in the prologue and then went out in the top 10 shootout, and we're fortunate enough to get pole, so we're starting off from the front row tomorrow.
Awesome viewing out there today. There's some different people up the front to what I was expecting, which is really good to see.
We've got a really big spectator hill where spectators have got a really good viewing point. There's also a truck which people stand up and watch the action up there. There's people camped the whole way along the track. Really good spectators.
Today we've had good 3,000 people here enjoying the race. It's been great conditions, good day, so we're all happy.
The track has a real variety of terrain actually. It's big, fast, open paddocks where they're going to be up around the 200, and there's a big flyover that the crowd can watch, and they hit that absolutely flat. Great spot for the crowd, and yeah, the drivers sort of love having a crack there too.
I think some of them are jumping 50 to 70 metres. They're a long jump. Class 4s, the Gallard and Greg Gartners, they'll be flying a long way. And they get the nose in the air and they look pretty cool.
Lots of big berm corners, so you end up with sort of massive plumes of dust in the background of all the shots. A couple of really nice jumps, so it's a good track all around to sort of shoot at and watch at.
There's a huge amount of rocks out there. The harder you push them, the better they go, really. A lot of rock comes out of the ground throughout the day, and in the sandy sections obviously you get big whoops and stuff, but these cars are amazing what they can do.
It's just so hard on gear, on tyres, on everything. There's like a shelf rock underneath the top layer, and once you go through that, it just rattles the teeth out of your head.
If you look at the tyres after 10 kilometres, there's nothing left of them. Very fast, good traction, dusty. It'll just rut out and become very boggy and sandy.
We find that it's got a bit of everything, this track. It's got a bit of fast bits, it's got the real hard, tight sections, and then it's got some sections where you're sort of going over sand dunes, you don't know what's on the other side, so it always keeps you thinking about what's going on, so it's excellent.
There's some sandy sections that are going to get absolutely ruined, so not looking forward to that at all. Surprisingly, it's a pretty hard track on the car with a lot of loose stones and rocks on the track, so you've got to keep the car really neat and tidy and not go wandering off the track at all, otherwise you're going to get in a lot of trouble.
Sort of a lot different than any other round I've been to, I reckon. Oh, the track just chops up a bit more, but I don't think so. This track's pretty hard, like it's very hard packed. The spots that are soft and loomy, they will chop up in the first lap anyway. Lots of cars, it's good, a good environment, it's good for the sport.
Well designed too from a spectator point of view. The track loops in and out of where the pit area is a couple of times, so spectators probably can see them at least 2 or 3 times on a lap. So really good venue for both crowds, spectators and the drivers.
It's a popular track. I think it's because it's got a bit of everything. The track's got really fast bits, top speed of 200 plus. We've got flowing bits, we've got sandy bits, we've got tight technical bits. It's got a bit of everything in the track, and I think that's what gets people in. They get a bit of everything.
But it'll just be like the Waikerie always been, just rocky and hard.
We've got something a bit different. We've got what we call a flexible lunch break, so they can take that after any lap.
That allows us to refuel, do tyres, check over the car, etc. This race we can do it any lap we choose. We'll do it at the halfway point purely because of our fuel capacity. We can't make it on distance, so we have to pit after 2 laps.
It's different, you still get a service break. It might work to your advantage, it might be a disadvantage. It means you can probably come in at lap 1 and get out of some dust, get out of some cars, but it's a bit hard to judge where an hour is. Depends on the day, I think.
No one else that I know of does it. And it's really good from the point of view, if you're caught behind another car of similar speed and you're caught in the dust and you can't penetrate it, take your pit break then. If you've got a problem with your car, you can fix a problem or fix a flat and then go out.
So we thought we'd run a bit of a different strategy than maybe what the others were running. So we went out and did 3 laps. We weren't quite sure if we'd have enough fuel to do it, but we did, surprisingly enough. That put us in a good position, then we had to go hard in the last lap.
We weren't sure whether we were going to get through on tyres or not on 3 laps. It might have been a better strategy, but in the end, I think it worked out.
How was the vehicle handling throughout the day?
Oh, it's brilliant. Just to sit there and the back sandhills out there are so rough, but we both giggle. It's fun.
We're running the Mickey Thompsons on the car. They're fantastic today. Like the punishment they take out there, you're sliding across rocks sideways, you're putting a huge amount of power down over rocks, and it's amazing what they can take.
A lot of shaly, sharp rock in the ground, and if they get the sideways sliding through the corners, they're putting a lot of pressure on the sidewalls of tyres.
There's some pretty gnarly rocks out there too, so you want to be kind of careful that you don't get a huge yoni through your windscreen.
You know, competitiveness at the top of our sport is very close, and any of those top 10 guys could be at the front at the end of the day.
Starting from 8th position, we were off the line with Brad Gallard and ended up having a good jump off the line. Fortunate for us, a few cars dropped out and we were able to jump up a little bit further and then start contending for the lead.
Yeah, number 4 was probably as good as we could do. We tried a few different things in the prologue, but it didn't quite work how we thought it was going to work.
It is a challenging race. Sometimes, you know, it is a war of attrition. When you're in race mode, you're already thinking of the next step, the next challenge, the next, you know, position to close.
We lost brakes about 20 k's out in lap 1. No brakes, that's why we decided to have the first service brake after lap 1, which is not where we wanted to be either, but anyway, got going again, but end up with another brake issue on lap 4, so that's life, isn't it?
You always prepare in your mind, hoping that when you start rear of field or, you know, rear of the top 10, that you are going to see some cars. So it's a mental boost when you do see them, you know, even though it's unfortunate for the other competitors, but I'm 100% sure they feel the same when they see a car on the side of the road.
We'll just see how it goes, who's there at the end and who gets to stand up the top.
Definitely one of the closest racing for the 4 laps that I've been involved in, and that made it a very interesting and challenging race.
We had a great day. I mean, we had a few little issues of our own, but overall it's been fantastic, a lot of fun.
Yet again, here we are in extreme conditions, extreme terrain. The 2 top guys have finished 10 seconds apart.